to study what we're studying essentially is called axonal transport. This process is very specific to neurons because for neurons, they have a very polarized structure. They have a long process called the axon, which actually in our body can extend more than a meter before it actually terminates at the synapse. But what is really very challenging is that the materials, the proteins are made in the cell body. So you see that the neuron has a logistic problem because then, it needs to maintain the processes, the metabolism over this very extended structure. So what do they do is that find a solution which is very similar to what we use in our society, is they're using a highway transport system. That's essentially what axonal transport is about, is that they load all these materials they need to deliver onto the molecular motor proteins and have them delivered over this very extended structure. And then for those materials that has been used or that needs to be brought back to the neuronal cell body, they do it in the same way, but in the other direction. Now this process is very important, but it's also very challenging. But because the axon is just a few micrometers in diameter, well, this process can extend 1 meter. So it's very crowded within a very narrow structure over a very long distance. So it's a very challenging process. So it's not completely surprising. This is something really, when people age, this process gets challenged in some way. And it is indeed is known that for just about all the neurodegenerative disease, neurodegeneration means that neuronal deaths, unfortunately, disease, they almost always have a phenotype, have a phenomenon in terms of, you see that this process is disrupted. And as you'd imagine that because if you shut down this transport process, then the neurons will die. So this is actually, so a big challenge we face in our work is try to understand the mechanism, and we are really inspired by the need for this society that we need to understand all these diseases, which by the way, that. For example, Alzheimer's disease has been studied almost a century, but still today we don't have any a drug or even therapy actually can essentially stop it. To slow it down is also virtually impossible today. Okay. So we are really, that's what really drives our work on a daily basis.